How I Stayed Healthy After 5 Heart Attacks. Secrets of Professor Duchenko. Imagine being diagnosed after your first heart attack. Doctors tell you, what, this is serious. You need to quit working, avoid stress, and focus only on your health. And you continue working, saving lives, and moving forward despite all the difficulties. This is not a fictional story, but the real story of my life. A story about how I survived 5 heart attacks while continuing to help people, teach students, and treat my patients. My name is Maxim Andreevich Duchenko. I've lived a long and fulfilling life. My story began in a small family back in 1919. I was born and grew up in difficult conditions, not knowing the ease of life. But I learned resilience that helped me survive not only the trials of war and blockade, but also 5 heart attacks, each of which could have been my last. But despite the diagnoses and doctors' advice to stop, I could never allow myself to sit idle. My work, my life, was about saving people. I was a doctor, a teacher, and a mentor. And everything I did was always focused on helping others. When doctors diagnosed me with a first attack, I never thought about retiring or quitting. Instead, I kept working, treating patients, and passing my experience to the younger generation. Perhaps this was my secret, staying active despite all the hardships. But let's start from the very beginning. My first attack happened when I was 53. At that time, I was still full of energy and never thought my heart could fail. I worked a lot, taught students, and, as always, was at the center of everything. But one day everything changed. That day I felt a sharp pain in my chest. I immediately realized something was wrong. Of course, as any doctor would, I thought about my heart, and as soon as I was diagnosed, I was shocked. My heart, which had never failed me, suddenly gave out. They told me, "Maxim Andreevich, you need to stop. Your heart won't withstand this pace." But what did stopping mean to me? Working without breaks was my way of life. I couldn't just give up what was so precious to me. The doctors prescribed treatment, gave me strict recommendations, and told me to rest, but I couldn't stop. I went back to work, helped patients, and kept teaching. Eventually, I had to accept that I needed to be cautious and listen to my body. 5 years later, at 58, the second attack came unexpectedly. I'd already started to listen to my body more, but my pace of life remained the same. Amazingly, despite the second attack, I returned to work. At 63, after my third attack, doctors strongly recommended I retire, but I was stubborn, and my desire to keep helping people was stronger. Of course, doctors prescribed medications, and I kept a strict eye on my health. I took all the necessary measures. I quit bad habits, reduced physical exertion, and learned to manage my stress. However, the key factor that helped me recover after each attack was my work. It wasn't just a job, it was my meaning in life. I was a teacher, I taught students, and each day spent with them brought me not only joy, but also the strength to recover. Years passed, and by 63, I had already survived 3 attacks, but strangely, they didn't make me consider quitting work. I understood I needed to live differently, to overload myself less, but I couldn't abandon my path in life. Over these years, I had to learn to listen to my body, because taking risks became too dangerous. The hardest attack I survived was at 70, when I had to stop for several months. The doctor said, "Professor, if you don't take a break, your heart may fail for good." But how could I afford to retire when so many people depended on me? How could I abandon my students who needed my knowledge and guidance so much? I returned to work with even more determination and a clear understanding that health is not just a physical condition, but also mental peace. I was 75 when I survived the final, 5th attack. It was so severe that doctors thought I needed rehabilitation. But I knew one thing: I couldn't stop. By then, I had already gotten used to the fact that not everything in life goes according to plan, but I was ready to fight. I continued working, teaching, helping patients, and dedicating my life to healing. Each of my attacks taught me an important lesson. No matter what happens with the body, you should never give up. Yes, I learned to appreciate every moment of health and treat myself with respect. But at the same time, I realized that life energy comes not only from physical strength, but also from emotional stability. Every time I went through another attack, I realized how important it is to remain calm despite the pressure from the outside world. In such moments, walks, bar exercises, and back muscle workouts helped me. A proper diet and regular medical checkups were also crucial.
If you want to maintain your health for many years, don't forget the importance of physical activity. It doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is that your body stays in motion. Walks in the fresh air, exercise, proper nutrition, all of this adds up to a long life. At times when life seems difficult, the sense of purpose and staying active keep us going. Emotional health is just as important as physical health. My story shows that we must stay true to ourselves and never lose sight of what gives us meaning and energy in life. I survived 5 heart attacks, but I always kept working, always kept living. I am proud that I was able to be useful to people, even when I was on the edge, because everything we do in life matters. And if we keep moving forward, no matter what difficulties we face, we can overcome any obstacles. My 5 heart attacks became lessons I pass on to my students and patients. Don't let stress, illness, or difficulties stop you. Live, move, and then health and longevity will surely follow.